going to show you some phenomenal patterns that occurred when I was fortunate enough to be invited to, actually, I kind of begged to know when Ed would come back to the Rhine Research Center Biophoton lab. And John Kruth, who's the director and still is, did let me know. It was right after a Monroe program. And so I just drove down there with my daughter, who had been monitoring, and another monitor who is a software genius. So in the Biophoton lab, you're seeing light now, but when John Kruth walked out, it was totally black in there, because what the photomultiplier, if I have that name right, was measuring was the photons of light in the room that were coming from Ed during the healing. And so he had to shut everything out. I mean, they taped, blackened, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. So I was sitting there during this healing and reporting out loud to Braden, who was operating the mind mirror in the next room and capturing the brainwave patterns, and he was making notes about things that I was saying and changes that I was experiencing. All right, so I'm going to take you through some very cool patterns. Hopefully you have got a bit of a grip by now on what's going on with these patterns, and I'm certainly going to explain them some more as we go on.
So Judith, just so people in the chat can play along, would you say that this is probably what was happening to ours just on the Zoom as well?
Very likely was. I mean, yeah, if people are open and receptive, and Ed is pushing out that energy, it will cause, I mean, somebody said to me recently, or I read recently, that it's so silly to say transmit, because there is no transmission. We're just amplifying something in us, which amplifies something in someone else. That it's not like you go from a point A to B, because it's all one field. And so no matter the distance between Ed and everyone here on Zoom, it's like we're all in the same bubble. And if we're able to stay attuned to ourselves and to any feelings that arise within us, and not have monkey mind chatter disturb the waves, interfere with the waves in us, then yeah, this could certainly be patterns very similar to these.
Oh, interesting, Ed. We can't use the word transmit anymore. We're going to have to come up with a new one.
Isn't that crazy? I mean,
Yeah.
and I read that and went, well, of course that's true. What was I thinking? Transmit. But we all use it because it makes sense to us, doesn't it? But really, if we're all in the same matrix, it's just like droplets of water making ripples, coupling and resonating together.
Interesting. So it's that makes it very important then, based upon who's in the group, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. We're gonna have to start screening you guys. All right, let's talk about the scans.
Okay, so if I'd had a P for a brain, I would have made it go left to right, but I didn't. For some reason, I made the progression go down and down. So, but I have highlighted the time here. So this, I don't know why we had really, John led us through really long eyes closed and then eyes open periods. It was an eyes closed segment just to create a baseline to start with. So eyes closed, I just have this nice awakened mind pattern here, which, is pretty much my standard pattern. Ed was not in his standard pattern. He had already, I don't think he could really help it, pushing that energy out. I mean, you
I can
say
apply
we're
that
going
to
to,
so much.
right, you say we're going to do a healing. Well, something's going to happen there in his field. But what's really noticeable about this pattern is that you see this green alpha here. My alpha peak is at 10.5 Hertz, right in the middle. Ed's is at 9 Hertz and always at 9 Hertz, showing that he is very close to the subconscious mind of the essential being, and the unconscious mind of the spirit. So he's deep. His alpha is deep. And it's kind of rare to see people with a 9 hertz alpha have this much gamma. But this is a lot of left brain gamma here. Still eyes closed by 6 minutes. I flare into this evolved mind in the right brain in response to his powered up. He's totally jumped the gun here. He's still eyes closed. He's powering up this gamma from here to here in the left brain. He is forming not an evolved mind, a low frequency evolved mind in the right, like I have, but 100 hertz evolved mind in the right. So there's that universal consciousness pattern. He's through the array of frequencies, he's arousing them all. And I'm resonating with him as far as that point, as high as I could go. Now at 6:34 minutes, for some reason, John reversed it. It's usually eyes open, eyes closed. John did eyes closed, eyes open. Well, my alpha just goes away, but I'm sensing, my delta is sensing, what is Ed doing? What's going on here? And Ed did the same thing. Look, he's doing some sensing too. So maybe my sensing was responding to his radar sensing. He's still got this massive gamma up here. At 7:27, it's still eyes open. He now has still got this 9 hertz alpha, especially in the left brain. You see how it juts out there? Well, he has just dropped or in response to him, my 9 hertz alpha for the first time has dropped in the left brain right where his is. I've still got my right brain 10.5 hertz alpha, but you see the similarities of the patterns here? We're starting to really mind walk. And this is before the healing has actually started.
Now, if when the eyes are open, is that still in a pitch black room?
It is. It is in a pitch black room.
So this is just the difference it makes, even though you're not seeing anything either way, it's still just
Yes.
the eyes. Yeah, guys, that's why I gotta tell you, I keep my eyes or closed the entire session. I just feel like you just become so much more into it. And here's a nice scan showing us that, right?
Well, you do. And the reason that you become more self-attuned is because the eyes closing the eyes creates alpha, gives you the alpha bridge, and then you're attuned to your deeper self. Yeah.
So it has nothing to do then with what you see, because if we're seeing the same thing in a super dark room, the
That's
trigger is
right.
just the eyes, the
It's
eyelids
just
coming
the
up.
eyes. And, I think my theory is that that's because most people don't close their eyes until they're ready to go to sleep. Okay. And a lot of people close their eyes just to meditate and go to sleep. Whatever it is, yeah, whatever it is, closing your eyes creates more alpha. But at this point, we were still with our eyes open. But look at the similarity of the patterns. There's some kind of cross current pull. These patterns are for eyes open, very, very similar. And then the healing begins at 10:23. Ed now powers up his gamma, and my gamma actually increases some uh, inside of an awakened mind pattern. Now, this bar here, that's some kind of 60 hertz noise that was in the room, or maybe it had to do with a hasty hookup. Somehow we were in a big hurry that day. Whatever it was, just disregard this 60 hertz bar in the 59 level right here. But you can see that my gamma is starting to power up here as his does, and he has here as well as I do as well. Something happened here where this bottom part of delta is curving upward, and so that means energy and information is rising into higher frequencies. Same thing here, same thing here. And look at, so 11:02, he's definitely powering up my left brain gamma here. So he pulsed out this left brain, and then my left brain picked it right up. And, but look at the similarity in our theta and delta. I mean, what are the chances? There aren't any chances. This is not a happenstance kind of thing. And so we go from this at 11:02 to where only the theta and the delta were similar to 1 second later. And look at these patterns, how they mirror each other. So the difference between other healers, in my experience, and Ed is that he goes to where I am and I go to where he is, and there's sort of an exchange of the brainwave pattern, and that's what is called mind walking, right? So here, you see, he becomes more, his left brain gamma is dominating here. He becomes more symmetrical. My left brain gamma is dominating here. Now I become more symmetrical. But then you've got this mirroring down here too, the
So mind
similarity.
walking is mirroring.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a great
yes,
term. I love it.
sharing the
Yeah,
same pattern,
yeah. You'll be
same
using that
pattern.
one, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. So pattern tracking now to 100 hertz. So he's uh, what is that word? Anomalous perturbation, meaning psychokinesis, basically, to, in the sense of distance healing, um, cause a change in someone else or help facilitate a change in someone else. So now we're light stirring. I reported that light was stirring in my third eye as I go up into gamma and delta at the same time. You can see we've both got these strong delta bands, both have this 6 hertz subconscious theta band. So the mirroring really gets very interesting here. 1248. Now here's this rest thing. He drops his amplitude from 20 to 12 microvolts. What is that, Ed? What's happening there when you drop your microvoltage? Are you aware of like uh,
Uh,
contracting or
Dr. Levingood noticed that a lot when he was doing the electric field studies on me, that my body voltage would just drop down.
a rhythmical pulse, maybe?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, it really worked because when you drop to 12 microvolts, then you met me in an awakened mind, both of us with gamma at the top. And at this point, I reported that the light that had been stirring in my third eye had moved to my crown, and my face got really, really cold and stayed that way for a long time. I thought somebody had turned on air conditioning, but in fact,
Hmm.
you couldn't have any air conditioning in that room, and Ed was sweating and I was ice cold.
Yep, we have that a lot with our clients. They report getting freezing cold all of a sudden.
Really, really. Yeah, so that was strange. And then after he drops down to 12 microvolts, meets me in 12, just a few seconds later, I go from 12 to 17. So my whole pattern powers up in a really pretty 100 hertz awakened mind pattern with this evolved mind bottom. And here now he's starting to pulse out his right brain gamma. So mostly he's been pulsing out left brain gamma, but he switches over too. And then here I call this cross currents because this is the same pattern but in reverse. Look at the shape of my left brain pattern and the shape of his right brain pattern. What is, what is going on there? It's some kind of polarity. You know how polarity therapy works.
Is that your extra pulses, Ed? Is that what we
Yeah,
see?
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's wild. But what's really important here for me as the recipient is that I just heard you say something about 1.83 something or other. I don't know what that is, but I know that this band of delta, he has pulsed out right here, and now it's pulsing out in me, is the domain of the human nervous system, which I had a back problem, a severe back problem, chronic for 30 years, 35 years. And so from henceforth, you're going to see this 2 hertz delta pulsing. So this is almost an evolved mind here, but what a strange, you could lay these on top of each other and they would be almost spot on. But 1405, total resonance. Check out this. It's the same darn pattern. Squiggledy wiggly. It's looking like a little dance, brainwave dance here. At 20 minutes, he fires up his left brain gamma in a split brain pattern that was seen by Max Cade in famous UK healers. And here, it's that the healer can just do one thing on one side of the brain and something completely different on the other
Hmm.
side.
That's
And
what Ross saw too.
really,
Yeah,
yeah,
he said I'd have a spectral peak at one side frequency on one side of my head, and the other side of my head would be completely opposite.
isn't that amazing? Uh,
Hmm.
and it can only be because that's something that recipient needs. So something in you is saying, I don't know what to do, but it knows what to do, and
It
it's
knows
just
what to
doing
do.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So a beautiful 100 hertz awakened mind for me here. This gamma blast gave me 2 more microvolts of gamma 45 seconds later that aroused. I didn't do anything to make it happen. I'm just sitting there and receiving. And people say, and I've experienced, that a half of a microvolt of gamma, you can feel it. You can feel it like an inflowing stream of energy or light, or third eye opens, or there's fluttering, or the heart starts to race. And it has directly followed that. Of course, he's
Mm.
still pushing out this gamma here. And then something interesting starts to happen here at the 22-minute point. This is a sort of signature pattern for Ed, where he forms this diamond in the bottom half of his pattern. And what makes the diamond is the 7.5 hertz band of theta, which otherwise you can see it's indented. Uh, it amplifies to the point where it's almost meeting up with this high amplitude alpha. This is called an alpha theta crossover, a transpersonal pattern where you and a spiritual icon, or healer and recipient, or you and God, or you and a spirit animal, something is merging. I've seen this enough times and queried people enough times about what forms this pattern to have heard from them that I just felt more than my ordinary self. And I'd say, like a higher self? And they say, yes, like a higher version of myself. And so here he is forming this diamond. And then here I am starting to amplify this theta in the exact thing, same movement. And at this point, I saw a diamond, I reported seeing a diamond containing a spinning crystal, because now I'm high frequencies and more amplified in the low frequencies simultaneously, thanks to all this anomalous perturbation. And
So
then,
now, are you speaking like while this is going on, so they know where to timestamp it?
yeah, the guy in the other room, Braden, he's marking down exactly when I'm speaking.
Uh-huh. And do you think like if you didn't have to speak at all, right? Because that is kind of taking you a little bit out of what's going on. Do you think your scans would look any different?
Yes, they would. And in fact, in the study I wrote up on this, I noted that I certainly had my reduced, but nevertheless active beta analyzing everything that was going on. I mean, I was not just like with that Malcolm Smith when I formed that evolved mind pattern, I was just in pure recipient mode because I couldn't see anything. I had 2 mind mirror 3s, and I had pause buttons, and I did manage to pause it, but it was so hard to come up out of that space. Here with Ed, I was totally saying, okay, now I feel heat, now I feel. So yeah, if I had not been in analytical mode, my patterns would have been different. They would have
Mhm.
been more higher state patterns. But it kind of worked out great because,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I find so interesting is that even with that, these are
yeah, yeah. And so here at 2256, he's back to this evolved mind pattern. And I've still got his 7.5 hertz extended theta, but I've also formed this very strong band of alpha, so that really my subconscious is becoming conscious. And then I saw that same diamond with the crystal spinning, but now it had a rainbow colored canopy over it. It was absolutely gorgeous. I didn't report it exactly when it happened, so I think this must have been the pattern. I was just astonished by the beauty of this thing. And it took a long time before I had the sense to ask in a meditative writing what it meant. And it was just talking about dimensions and about how light filters down into this dimension, into us as spinning crystals. inside of the diamond higher self, uh, all in different frequencies that make colors. There's more to it. All right, so Ed blows out his theta, his delta, and my delta goes too. And somehow delta, high amplitude delta causes gamma to ride on top, and that must be what happened there. And now he's back in this beautiful 100 Hertz gamma synchrony pattern with this big diamond at the top. And then we get to the cool down. This is the last one. He's in 100 Hertz superconscious gamma synchrony pattern, and I'm in 100 Hertz awakened mind pattern, both with amplified delta. And that is definitely not where I started out. And then I wanted to just show you, this is so cool. So this is a composite display of the data lines of the brainwave categories, and you can see what happened here. So this is from eyes open till the healing starts. So he's pushing out some delta, which pushes out my delta. Then he blasts out some gamma, which blasts out my gamma. Then he pushes out a lot of gamma here, which blasts out my gamma. It's just extraordinary. My delta starts to go down, so he pushes out some delta, and up goes mine. And it just stays this way the whole time. You can see it's like a direct stimulation. Like my
So, and
gamma
when you're,
started to go down, and his gamma goes up, and then mine goes up.
I can't use the word transmit anymore. So Ed, are you sitting there like consciously changing the gears to different?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm
then
constantly.
how do you decide what you're gonna put out though at that moment? Like
I
what's
I go by feel.
go by feel?
When I
And is that
feel
feel based
the,
upon the group or just how you feel that day?
it's the feel of the kind of like the energy. I get the feel of the energy, and then I just kind of modulate it.
Got it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, you sure did.